Today, we're going to be talking about Russell Bufalino. A notorious figure in the Mafia, Bufalino was a leader of the infamous Bufalino crime family. He ran illegal activities from the 1930s to the late 1970s. Some of his most notorious crimes include racketeering, murder, loan sharking, and obstruction of justice. So let's take a closer look at these top 4 crimes. Murder. To begin with, Bufalino was infamous for his participation in a case involving a murder. The murder of infamous criminal Jimmy Hoffa is one of the most well-known examples of this kind of thing happening. Since 1975, neither Hoffa nor anybody who knows him has been able to locate him or communicate with him in any way. Hoffa formerly held the position of president of the Teamsters Union. In spite of the fact that his involvement in Hoffa's disappearance was never proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, Bufalino was suspected of having some responsibility in the case. In addition, he was involved in other murders that were connected to the Mafia, such as the murder of Salvatore Schibetta and the attempted murder of mafioso Frank Sheeran. He is suspected to be responsible for both of these murders and even involved in obstruction of the law on several counts during his trials. We'll talk more on that shortly, so keep watching. Loan sharking. It was common knowledge that Bufalino was the head of a sizable organization that was involved in loan sharking. The unlawful practice of lending money at very high interest rates is known as loan sharking. It may also be termed as usury. Loan sharking is a criminal activity. Illicit gambling is another kind of usury that exists in the world. People who needed financial assistance would go to Bufalino and his accomplices, and they would give them money, but then they would resort to violence or threats to get the money back that they were owed. When it came to his conduct as a loan shark, Bufalino was notoriously aggressive, and in the year 1979, he was at long last sentenced to prison for the crimes he committed as a direct consequence of the activities he engaged in while acting in the capacity of a loan shark.
That is impressive.
Obstruction of justice. In addition to this, Bufalino was notorious for his activities that aimed to disrupt the operation of the judicial system. It was common knowledge that he would attempt to tamper with evidence, exercise his influence on the judges and jurors, intimidate witnesses, and bribe them in order to influence their testimony. This would result in the integrity of the legal system being compromised. Because of other crimes he committed, he was given a jail term that sent him behind bars for a period of 15 months. In 1974, when he was on trial for the murder of Arthur Anderson, the court found him guilty of obstructing justice throughout the course of the proceedings and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Later in the video, we'll give more details on the Bufalino's notorious crime family and the numerous activities they were involved in. Stay with us.
Don't listen to that kid at school, okay?
Racketeering. Racketeering was one of the most serious crimes that Russell Bufalino committed during his whole career as a criminal. This crime was one of the most major crimes that he committed. Racketeering is the process of compelling companies to make financial contributions to criminal groups via the use of threats, bribes, and other underhanded methods, as well as other types of coercion. Extortion is a sort of coercion. He was a member of the Genovese crime family, which was firmly embedded in the racketeering that occurred in the labor market. Bufalino was a staunch member of this crime family and was heavily engaged in the criminal activity. In addition to this, it was common knowledge that he used his influence to establish dominance over the coal business in the states of New York and Pennsylvania.
Is that something that happens a lot where...
Bufalino's crime empire. In June of 1959, Joseph Barbera, the previous boss, died away, and Russell Bufalino took over the leadership of the criminal organization. After he took control, Russell did not cut his links with the Genovese crime family in New York and continued to be in close contact with them. This particular mafia family does exist in the world. The Bufalino criminal family is also known by a variety of other aliases, including the Scranton Wilkes-Barre family, the Pittston crime family, the Northeastern Pennsylvania crime family, the Scranton Mafia, and the Northeastern Pennsylvania Mafia. After Russell was arrested in the 1970s on charges linked to extortion, his deputy Edward Sheandra took over as the principal leader of the gang and acquired control of its activities. Sheandra received aid from a number of other members from the syndicate, including Angelo Bufalino, Anthony Guarneri, Philip Medico, James David Ostico, and consigliere Remo Alio. While Bufalino was eventually convicted of his crimes, his influence in the mafia and his ability to remain below the radar for so long will never be forgotten. There are still no clues to who was responsible for Jimmy Hoffa's murder, but we've done a video on 3 of the biggest developments in the investigations that took place. Find out in the recommended video. Thanks for watching.